Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is going to be a sort of like two videos put into one for today's video, guys. So what I have for you today, we are going to be rounding up first of all the games which took place at the weekend in the Championship playoffs. We're going to be rounding up those games of the first legs, and we're also going to be making our score predictions for what we think will happen in the second leg of those games. So apologies if I do still sound a little bit ill. I'm still suffering a little bit from a cold, but I'm sure I'll be back to full fitness in due course, guys. But like I said, this video will be split into two parts. So the first half of the video is going to be me rounding up the action which took place at the weekend in the first leg of the playoffs, and then the second half of the video is going to be my predictions really for what I think will happen in the second legs of those games, guys. So what I'd love to know from you guys is, first of all, what did you make of the games taking place in the first legs of the Championship playoffs? Let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think were the standout players from that sort of game, and who do you think has the advantage going into the second leg? I'd be very interested to know. As well as that, guys, I'd love to know your score predictions for what you think will happen in the second leg of these games. And then if you do manage to successfully get any of your score predictions right for the second leg, I will include your comment in the next video. And speaking of correct score predictions, guys, I will include your guys' comments. So if any of you guys did successfully manage to predict the scorelines to any of the first leg fixtures, I will include your comment on screen now. So fair play to everyone who got a score prediction right from, because we only had 2 games to go ahead and predict this weekend, and I think we had about 13 people that correctly managed to guess a scoreline this weekend. So fair play to all of you guys. You have done better than me this weekend. My score predictions weren't right, although I suppose I was a little bit close with the Huddersfield against Sheffield Wednesday game. I said that one would end as a draw, and in the end it was a draw. I just didn't say that it was going to be 0-0. But without further ado, guys, let's get into talking about what we thought of the games. So the first game that we had to talk over was the one going on Saturday between Fulham and Reading, and I've got to say, out of both of these games, probably they really weren't brilliant in my opinion. I did watch both of them, and coming into this, there are 4 good teams coming into this year's playoffs, but I did think through probably what was happening in both games where they were both very cagey in my opinion, which was a little bit disappointing. I'm hoping in the second leg the games will open up a lot more, and I think being cagey really didn't suit Fulham, first of all, as we talk over this game. The sort of football that Fulham like to play, they like to play, fast attacking football, going forward, using the wings quite well and being quite a direct team. Reading really did well in this game to nullify, their attacks. Reading set up with sort of like this 3 or 5 at the back system, which they've been playing more towards the tail end of the season. And in this game, it really did work well to really nullify Fulham's attacking threat, because if anything was going to be Reading's Achilles heel going into the playoffs, it was always going to be the away leg. And to come out of that for Reading with a 1-1 draw, this is a very good result for Reading in my opinion. If we look over their defensive record over this season away from home, it really isn't anything to shout about. So, I wouldn't have been too surprised if Fulham managed to bag 2 or 3 goals in this game, but the fact that Reading have been able to keep it to a 1-1 draw, they've given themselves everything going into that second leg, and possibly even have the advantage going in to the home game. But in terms of how this game actually went, we went into half-time of this one at 0-0. Like I said, it was a bit of a cagey first half. Reading were happy to sit back really and try and play on the counter-attack, whereas Fulham had quite a few opportunities in the first half, which they did squander wide. I know Aluko had a very good chance in the first half, which just went wide, and they had a couple of other attempts here and there, which they just couldn't manage to get into the back of the net. And then the second half came around, and it was actually really against the run of play where Reading managed to go ahead and take the lead. There was a bit of controversy in the goal, a couple of people appealing that there was a foul in the build-up to this one, but it was Obita in the end who managed to get the shot in. A very nice goal as well from Obita, but that goal really was short-lived. It only took Fulham less than 10 minutes to get back level on the game, and it was Tom Kearney who got the goal, their magic man this season really. Reading's defence I thought would have been a little bit disappointed really with the goal they did concede there. Fulham seemed to break through them quite easily, and then Al-Habsi sort of tips it straight into the path of Tom Kearney, who headed it into the back of the net. And apart from that, not really much else happened in this game. Fulham were, if anyone was going to win this game, I'd have probably said it would have been Fulham, but with the chances they wasted, I felt like this was a bit of an opportunity missed really for Fulham, considering how well they have been playing at home this season. But then towards the end of the game, of course, Paul McShane did go ahead and get a red red card. It was a rush of blood from him, and it was stupid, to be completely honest. Of course, he'll now miss the next leg, and that'll be a big loss for Reading, in my opinion. Paul McShane, one of their more stable defenders at the back end, with them having a bit of a suspect defence. Having Paul McShane missing for the next leg is going to be a big blow for them. And then into the next game we had, guys, we had the game going on Sunday between Huddersfield Town and Sheffield Wednesday, and I mean, this really wasn't a great game. I'm not going to try and dramatise it for something that this wasn't, because honestly, this was a really bad game in my opinion, and quite disappointing really, because two sides coming up against each other who both have very capable squads of playing some very attractive football actually, but I thought there was a bit of nerves going around in this game, and like I said, it's quite similar to the Fulham game actually, this one probably more so. It was a very cagey affair, and especially Sheffield Wednesday really weren't wanting to give anything away in this game, and that was sort of seen by the way Sheffield Wednesday went ahead and set up for this game. They set up very defensively and really looked to nullify Huddersfield really, and then go back into the second leg, having every chance to go ahead and beat them in the home leg. But in terms of who was the better side, I thought Huddersfield were the better team. That's not really going to come as a surprise to anyone. You know, they had the majority of the ball in this one, and they had like pretty much the only chance of this game. Wednesday really didn't have many chances. I mean, they had I think a shot from Adam Reach, I think it was, that just went wide, but apart from that, Wednesday didn't really offer anything going forward. Huddersfield had a couple of chances. Isaiah Brown had a good chance, Naki Wells had quite a good chance as well, but apart from that, not a lot happened in this game. And I think out of the two sides that finished out of this one, Sheffield Wednesday will have been the happiest side, because I think Sheffield Wednesday came into this game really wanting to get the 0-0 draw, and I think in the end they managed to do that, and so they give themselves every chance going into the second leg now. So then guys, in terms of my score predictions, let's go ahead and get into it. So like I said at the start guys, I'd love to know your score predictions for what you think will happen in the second leg in the comments down below. So first of all guys, we have Reading against Fulham. This game is going to take place on Tuesday night at 7:45, and boy, how do we see this one going? It's quite an interesting one really, because in the first leg of this game, of course, we saw Reading sit quite deep, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that in this reverse fixture really at home. I think the crowd will want them to play more attacking in this game, but it'll be very interesting to see how Jaap Stam will set up his team, especially as well considering that Paul McShane won't be a part of this one. And Fulham in the last one got a bit unlucky with missing chances. If they can take their chances in this one, it could be a different game. However, I do get the impression that this game could actually go to extra time, and I'm going to say that at full time this one is once again going to be a 1-1 draw. I can see these two sides levelling it out after full time, but I do think there will be a winner in extra time, and the team I think it'll be, I'm going to go with a Fulham 2-1 victory after extra time. I really do think that this one could go the distance. If this went to penalties, it would be incredibly dramatic. But in terms of who I think would have the legs going into that, I just think with Reading's defence being a little bit suspect and Fulham going forward, they could prey on those mistakes later on in the game. So for that reason, I'm going to go with a 2-1 Fulham victory. Although saying that, I'm not really too confident with me backing that, because literally anything could happen in these playoffs. Whereas FIFA's saying Fulham are going to get the 1-0 victory. And then into our next game, we of course have Sheffield Wednesday, who are coming up against Huddersfield. So once again, quite similar to the other game actually. I'd be very surprised if Sheffield Wednesday played as defensive as they did in the reverse fixture in this second leg. Surely the crowd will be demanding them to push higher up the pitch, and they'll want to see more chances being created, because in that reverse fixture, Sheffield Wednesday didn't have a shot on target in that game. But I think it has to be said, I think going into this one, Sheffield Wednesday probably do have the advantage. I mean, Huddersfield really missed an opportunity, in my opinion, to take something into this away, like, you know, take a lead into this game. But the fact that Sheffield Wednesday probably had the advantage over them in this one, once again, I can actually see this one being a very low scoring game. Sheffield Wednesday, I'm not sure, I mean, I don't know how defensive they're going to be, but really I can't see them conceding a goal if they are going to play that defensive once again, and I fancy them to snatch one here and there. So I'm going to go with a slim 1-0 victory for Sheffield Wednesday. Honestly, I just hope for the life of me that in both of these games, an early goal is scored, because if an early goal is scored in either of these games, that will then open the game up, and then it will mean that they'll be a lot less cagey, and the less cagey the games are, the more entertainment for us guys it is. So that's what I'm really hoping for in the second legs of these games. But I'm going to go with a slim 1-0 victory for Sheffield Wednesday, and that's also what FIFA's predicting. So there you have it guys, that will wrap it up for this video of my Championship second leg predictions predictions, guys, for what I think will happen in the Championship playoffs. So if my predictions do come true, we will have a Fulham versus Sheffield Wednesday final at Wembley, which will be a very interesting game indeed, guys. But like I said, apart from that, that will now wrap it up. So thank you so much for watching. So if you guys have all enjoyed, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you check out all the other links in the description down below. Make sure you subscribe for regular Championship content. But apart from that, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.